All right, let's get started with some pre-market runners. And multi runners that have been popping up since yesterday. Edible, number one. So huge breakout. Day two of the move. So this is sort of gap up short territory, but I think I'm going to avoid that one. Although that one could be really nice. We did have a long on this. Let's see if I can show this. So this was the bot trade. So the bot traded this one yesterday. Good morning, Lori. So this was the bot trade, and so that was called out in the Discord from the bot. That ended up doing pretty good, and we had the gap up overnight, but we don't swing, so we did not hit the gap up, but basically got in, made 40% on it intraday. So that was pretty nice. So we were getting out over here. We did hit the gap up. We have the gap up. We didn't trade the gap up. But I kind of figured it would gap up because of how it was holding in after hours. Let's look at that close. So this is pretty much textbook what you want for a gap up. Perfect close for a gap up. So really nice day. Pushing up in after hours, holding after hours, and then closing right at the highs. So super, super nice. And then this is my prediction for the overnight. So right around 550. So it hit the target. It's a little bit higher than that. So maybe 130, 130%. Potential on that. Could keep going. Maybe this is the top. Hard to say, but there's a nice trend line here. So as long as it's holding that trend line, it's going to probably keep spiking. SGMA's buyout. Going to ignore that one. BDSX was a nice multi-day breakout. Pretty nice multi-day breakout over these past few days. Yeah, Al crushed that edible trade. Killing it. So this is maybe something that Al needs to do too. Because this is basically the same setup, but it's got this breakout level. And this one ran into the after hours. So maybe we need to extend the after hours because we don't trade this late in the day at the moment. But this was perfect. So another nice one. That would be hitting targets if we were trading that. Today it looks like maybe bounce short. If it can bounce. Put an alert out. ASST, this is really interesting. So ASST, go to a bigger chart here. So you can see that held up. So we had a super nice move up, held sideways for a few days, and now it's breaking out again. So this is what happens when things heat up in small caps. You get these multi-day breakouts, you get consecutive multi-day breakouts. So this is sort of typically all you would get is this first leg up. And now it's held, and now it could do a second leg up. So potentially that could do another leg up. Push up towards 18 bucks maybe. We'll see. We'll see. GCL is up and down already. That's pretty much it for the gappers. We do have SYTA. So this one was a multi-day run. Up 3 days. Now it looks like it's done. It's broken trend pretty clearly, but broken that trend line. So I think this will be my trade for the day. I don't see anything else except for maybe edible. But this is broken trend, so now it's gapping down pretty big. It did just about make it to 10 bucks, which is the magic number. But I think we'll try a short on this one. Taking a starter in pre-market here, just because I'm afraid it's just going to roll over. And I think the target's going to be sub 4. So if we can get below 4. Yeah, Al's in something. We'll have to see how that one plays out. HYLN. Al did great yesterday. Yeah, we'll have to see. The problem with Al is if they don't have the follow through, if they're just fully round trip moves. But if this thing can hold up, then it's looking good. Oh, the news looks pretty good. Joins Saudi U.S. investment forum during U.S. presidential visit. Signing strategic MOU for $1 billion business opportunity in the energy sector. So that's a current event. That's a good... that's good news. That's not just fluff. That's something that's been in the current events. $1 billion is a lot of money for these smaller companies, so could have some follow through on that. Let's check in on United Health. So United Health has broken this big trend line. So that was a nice little day trade for trend break. And then it had a nice bounce too. So kind of two opportunities there to trade it. this morning for day trades. So pretty clear trend break. This is sort of a medium-sized trend break. Set up this dip here into a nice bounce. So that's nice. Nice moves on UNH already today. Morning, Scotty. So that's pretty much it for the plan for the day. Let's see. Yeah, I tried SYTA yesterday. It looked like a really nice first red day opportunity. It didn't have the follow through. It had another squeeze. So it held up and then it kind of cracked in after hours. So I'm really glad I stopped out where I did. It wouldn't have mattered if I kept my risk where it was. Still would have stopped out anyways. And, you know, I saw some other really good short sellers basically take the same trade. So not much you can do about that. Except for maybe wait for the trend break. So I think that's what I'm going to do going forward on these multi-day runs. Because it's just, you don't know where the top is going to be. And I'd rather be late than early. So pretty much had this trend line, which never broke. So I shouldn't have even gotten in yesterday. Or wouldn't have. I don't think it was a bad try, but I think we're going to go with this trend break plan on the multi-day moves going forward. So we are trying it today. The trend is broken. The question now is, how much can it bounce before it wants to start coming down nicely? So we have to survive whatever chop it's going to throw at us today. But I think it's a pretty clear target of sub $4. If I can get down to the threes, I'll be pretty happy. That's the next obvious level. So pretty much a gap fill from this gap up day right here. If it can basically fill that gap, then we're going to be in pretty good shape. So classic clear out here. Because I had a level, I had the support level, resistance level on the chart, which it tapped over there in pre-market yesterday. So it taps it, but then it holds and keeps going. So the best case for that is when it breaks over it convincingly, not just a little poke through. You want a convincing break over that level, and then short it. So it's failed back under that level already. So we'll see what it does. I'm gonna scale into it. Hopefully the top is in. It seems like it's in. Never know with these things. Wow, Edible is getting an offering. It looks like an offering. I don't know if it actually is. No news. Let me check the filing. It's probably in the filings. So they just released an 8K filing. Unregistered sale of equity securities. So yeah, that would be an offering or some kind of dilution. Maybe warrants. So here it is. So 300,000 warrants. What else? So there's Class A and Class B warrants for 300,000 each, it looks like. Issued on 24 December. The existing warrants had an original exercise price of $9 a share. Became exercisable immediately following issuance. Let's see, that's kind of old though. $3.50 a share, up to 2 million at $3.50 a share. Okay. So it looks like these other ones were from December. And then these new ones, it looks like just dropped for $3.50 exercise price. But the thing is, they still have to file an S3. So the S3 kind of makes these actually sellable on the market. So it seems like, yeah, they could file that S3 at any moment. The company agreed to file a registration statement Form S3 within 30 calendar days following the date which could be today. They might just do it right away. So anyways, that's edible. Maybe I should short it. I don't know. $2 million shares is quite a few, especially for a stock with 1.5 million shares outstanding. But the nice thing is, even with if we did the overnight trade on this, we'd already be out because we hit our target. So even with the offering news, it's not really killing the overnight trade. Plus we would have been in from 275. So we'd still be up quite a bit on the trade. HYLN is pushing pretty nicely. So we're long from $1.55. Looking good. I'll be on it. Edible kind of looks like short here. Sometimes these offerings can be tricky and they just get absorbed, but this one might be too big to absorb. Oh, wow. Al is on walk now. 60-cent entry. 61 cents. 62 cents, something like that. Walk. Announces pricing of registered offering. Makes sense. I don't know if I like that news, but sometimes that happens. I don't know. All right, 4 minutes to the open. Good luck, everyone. Walk might be fried. Hey, you never know. You don't want too many chefs in the kitchen either. Now, Walk was a big runner, former runner, so it might have a little juice in it. I don't know. Do you think I should lock that one in or not? Don't really want to do that kind of stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Taking like 45% on that. It's not bad. Could go more. Always could go more. Yeah, we'll see if I cut our gains short there. So we got 62 to 86 was the what I ended up getting. Pretty good, like 40%. SYTA looking like a weak open so far. Super weak. See if it stays weak. Edible coming back up. Crazy. So see, they announced the offering, but they're not actually selling yet. So there's a little bit of maybe panic because of that. But until they drop that S3, they can't actually sell those shares on the market. That's why I wasn't sure about shorting it. You can imagine people shorting that, and now they're getting squeezed and it's halted up. Walk is looking toppy. HYLN looking kind of disappointing, but it's still hanging in there. Kinda. We have an OTC runner. MTPLF. Huge breakout on OTC. That's hasn't happened in a while. I know, what is that? What even is that? Those haven't been around since 2020. Yeah, because you have to be on drugs to trade these anymore. But yeah, these are just trading on the OTC market. Some of the cleanest movers. These used to be really easy money. Because they move so clean. Even on this one, you've got a gap up. Okay, basically it told you it wants to go up and then it just goes up. So, and it's a multi-day breakout. So if you have a gap up and it's going up, you just buy it at the open. You could, hold it, risk the open price. Pretty much that's the trade. A lot of these would just spike 20, 30, 40% right out of the gate. And then they also set up the dip buys. The dip buys were the best on these too. Yeah, SYTA just staying weak so far. Of course, it opened with SSR on. Giving us our first red day. I had to flip to a backup mouse because my mouse was double clicking. SYTA just super weak. Pretty incredible. This is the problem. This is why people get squeezed, because when these things sell off like this, you just get pure weakness. So that kind of leads people to chase into the short before the short is ready to work. So you end up getting in too early, getting squeezed maybe once or twice before it actually works if you're too early. So that's why just being late is best. Okay, SYTA halted down now. That's nice. I may try edible if it sets up. Might be a tricky one though. Reclaiming my trend line on edible, so not supposed to short it if it's following the trend. Walk is coming down a bit, but it could come back. United Health, what do we got on United Health? It's kind of holding the opening range. I really wouldn't be surprised if this reclaims my trend line. That is one of my best setups for the mid caps, is whenever there's an obvious trend line and then it reclaims the trend line. course, this is a big cap, but I think big caps can do similar things. Possible swing entry here on NVAX. Gotta remember, this thing was $300 not that long ago, back in 2021. It's at $7 right now. So if it can find a base and kind of prove itself a bit, this could push back up to $30-40 from $7. Not out of the question at all. Plus we have a trend breakout. I think I'll try the swing here. Plus midterms are coming up. They're going to have to drop a new virus. So one step ahead. Let's take a look at SYTA. Probably should cover some here. Took 2/3. I'll probably just take it all. Yeah, let's take it all. That's not too bad. That's pretty much straight down action, which a lot of times turns into a bounce. So we'll take 25%. Yeah, happy with that. That's pretty nice. Thank you. All right, just bought some Novaks on my swinging account. All right, so we exited SYTA 470-ish, 465-ish. So it is trying to bounce now a little bit back to 490. ASST looks like a failed breakout. Wow. This is one of the scenarios I talked about the other day where if it could push the breakout level and then fail, then that would be the short opportunity. But it looks like we're going to miss that. That's okay. That's not the easiest one. GPUS bouncing back pretty strong off of this multi-day run. So this one had another one where we had a multi-day runner, pulled back, got a liquid, and now is ripping right back up. Yeah, Edible does look like a short right here. No shares to short. Too slow on that. Should have barred him earlier. May reshort SYTA if it bounces enough. Waka came all the way back down. 55 cents now. So there's the walk trade from the bot. Plus, I told him to get out too. So I never know if I should intervene. I'm really trying not to intervene with the bot, but that ended up being the right call. And not the greatest news. This is a China stock too, so a supplier of medical devices in China. So China is just notorious for pumping and dumping. Plus, I know how this one ran before. This one was a perfect short back here, February 20th. So I kind of figured it would just give it all back pretty quickly. So it did. And the news wasn't the greatest. It was just they're going to dilute their shareholders. So why is it running? I don't know. Okay, Edible's hanging out. See, this is one of the keys here. First red day, pull back to previous day's high. The prophecy is fulfilled. Incredible bounce on GPUS. Pretty insane. Tesla still flagging near the highs. Little fake out yesterday for the break. But it did that last time it had a breakout too. It did the fake breakout, came back to the lows, and then it went. So we'll see if it does something similar this time. I think there was some Elon news, which caused some chop yesterday. Musk reaffirmed his commitment to leading Tesla for at least another 5 years. While SYTA back to 550. Almost $1 over where I covered. Edible looking done. Still no shares for that one. Edible could be surprising though. Man, I should have did the dip buy on SYTA. This thing went straight up. So there was the trade on SYTA. I'll put this in the Discord later. But I started in pre-market, added after the open, and then we just covered the dip. No re-entry yet. It may not be super easy for the rest of the day. I think the bounce, the initial short, and then the bounce are the best trades on it. And then the bounce short could be good too, but it's probably not going below the low of day. Could, definitely could. But it kind of already did the gap fill move, so I don't know. That was pretty much the idea. It's already played out. Maybe wait for tomorrow for second red day. So it'll either kind of go sideways the rest of the day, or it could actually have some really nice follow through for maybe another leg down, maybe actually hit the sub 4 target. But it's kind of 50-50. Might be 40-60. New gen, try and Google short. $1.6890, want a retracement, Google. Good luck. $1.6890. Could happen. So with this one, the daily is saying it wants to break out, but it doesn't have to break out. You know, you can always get failed breakouts. So it's kind of broken out just now. But it could be a fake out. Yeah, fake breakouts are good. We'll see how you come out on that one. If I look at the daily, kind of looks like your setup from the daily perspective for the dip buy. But you're not swinging, so this would be a swing idea. the intraday moves are different. GPU's incredible. No chance I'm shorting that. This looks like an owl trade. Flare, everything's going down. Except GPUs. GPUs is ripping everyone. Every short seller that's in it's getting destroyed. Let's check in on United Health. So after this 50% drop off of $600 to $300, actually got to 250, pretty insane. So it's had a nice bounce back, about 20%, 25%. A little bit of a trend break here, so it's kind of sideways so far. Pretty clear wedge right here. So if I was going to trade that, I'd be looking at that wedge. For a day trade. Pretty clean wedge. SYTA almost back to the open price. Pretty incredible bounce. Glad I covered it in the 460s. It was a great trade. Tesla. The bigger picture on Tesla is it's a big flag. So it's had a big flag here, sideways for a few days. And so the flag can break out or break down. The last flag we had broke out really nice after the fake out. So 20% move out of this flag breakout into another flag. So pretty interesting structure on Tesla. It stopped on Google, dang it. Rivian is sort of like a Tesla sympathy play. Electric vehicle, you know, pretty nice breakout on Rivian too. I think it's just following behind Tesla because Tesla's had some pretty big strength recently. But big technical breakout on Rivian over the past couple of weeks. It's been pretty green. NVIDIA. Super impressive bounce. Again, similar to Tesla, it's got this flag. So we've had this big move up off of this bounce. and it's in a flag structure, flag pattern right now. So we know flags can break out, they can break down. So we'll have to see, but whenever this makes a move one way or the other, that's where the nice day trades come in, I think. If you're looking for day trades. Yeah, edible's coming down now. Couldn't borrow any shares for this one, unfortunately. I would have tried that. So big gap up, short opportunity into this offering news. So offering news in pre-market, which then reclaimed a bit because the news was they're going to do an offering. It's not active yet. They can't actually sell any of those shares. So there's no selling pressure yet due to this offering, but there could be at any moment. If they were truly selling, this would have gotten demolished by now. Usually that's how it works. The lone OTC runner. Maybe we're going to see some OTC runners now because this is a pretty incredible breakout for the OTC market. We haven't seen any OTCs lately, not many. They've been pretty much dead. So this could spark a lot of OTC action. So we might be seeing some more OTC runners in the coming weeks. OTC is pretty clean how they trade. I mean, you could imagine if you're watching this breakout, you buy the first day of the breakout, you swing it for a day or two. You know, that's 130%. It's not bad. So I may try some stuff like that if the OTCs look like they're coming back. Big bounce day for these small caps. GPUS. Huge bounce. Not a short. All right, I've got to get going. Gonna call it there. Had a good trade on SYTA. I'll just show that one more time. So there's the trade. Started in pre-market, added after the open, and we covered the dip here because we got the gap fill. Got to cover it. And when things start dipping so fast like that, they tend to want to bounce. So good idea to get out. And it ended up bouncing pretty much all the way back up. So 25% on that. So I'll put that in the Discord. Good luck, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow.